All right, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the Torah tribes, Yasharala, giving of course all honor, glory, praise unto Yahweh, Baha Shema Mashak, Wamalaki Yahweh Shah. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Mahashiach, Wamalaki Yahweh Shah. All right, brother Yasharala,
Brother Ahbayah.
Khan, coming back to y'all yet another video through the Spirit and power of Yahweh, Baha Shema Mashak, Wamalaki Yahweh Shah. All right. Brother to the right of me, Brother Ahbayah, is of the WFI Atlanta camp. He has an Instagram as well as YouTube entitled Ahbayah. So you can go ahead and follow him on, subscribe to him via, YouTube and Instagram. You can hit him up. Good edification on both channel and page. You can check that out for yourself. All right. All praise to the Most High. All praises. Good brother. All right. To the Spirit. A good soldier too. All right. Mighty brother right here. All right. That's increasing. The Lord's increasing him. All right. Con. So, um, let's get into it. Right. So I have a presentation. Okay. We're going to try this. We're going to try it out. Hey, brothers have done presentations in the world at school. Have to kind of get up to the classroom, call your name up. Friends is like, yeah, let's go, let's go. Teacher's like, hey, be quiet. Standing up there in the front of the classroom, nervous, legs shivering. I know, if you have glasses, your glasses kind of fogging up because you're getting nervous. You have to kind of wipe it. So here's my presentation on frogs. So frogs, you gotta stutter it. Hey, people making fun of you, or they could be laughing, or in the back, you're trying to present, and then hey, homies in the back, making faces and whatnot, and hey, you kind of laughing. But hey, it's hey, we have done presentations in the world, so why not apply that to this truth? Presentations, they serve a good benefit. So, it's a good way of presenting information, right? Making presentations via, Google Slides, PowerPoint, whatever. So let's get into it. All right. Hold on. All right, come on. Right. So this is the spiritual spring and summer. So we'll be going into the spiritual spring and the spiritual summer. All right. Both also the physical aspects of it in the scriptures, as well as the spiritual aspects of it in the scriptures as well. All right. Because remember, the Bible covers everything. All right. The Bible covers everything. So I want to kick it off real quick with the book of Psalms. All right. The book of Psalms. All right. Actually, real quick, two precepts, right? Psalm chapter 49 and verse 3. My mouth shall speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall be of understanding. I will incline mine ear to a parable. I will open my dark saying upon the heart. So remember, when we go into the spiritual application of the spiritual, of the spring and summer, not everybody's going to get it. You have to have that spiritual eye salve, like we keep saying, that spiritual eye salve, because really it's a dark saying. You need to have that light, which is basically the spirit of Yahweh resting upon you, in order for you to actually understand the spiritual aspects of the scriptures. All right. You can understand the physical aspects. One could be able to understand the physical things, but it's not easy to understand the spiritual things, right? Remember, the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. Now they can't know them because he is spiritually discerned. You know, you got a precept about on that?
Come.
So,
I'll get this from verse in Job chapter 11, verse 6. And that he will show thee the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is. So, things in the scriptures are double, triple to that which is. You might just read something. You just, you reading it, you just looking at it on a main fold. But it's double to that which is. It can be a spiritual thing. You can apply it to something else, right? This Bible is what's called. You can do a lot of things with it. You can't just limit yourself when you read this Bible. This Bible talks about a lot of different things. You gotta have that spiritual eye salve, anoint your eyes with eye salve to see the spiritual thing. Because Yahushua, he's a spiritual man. The people who was rolling around with, the disciples, they wasn't spiritual. That's why they didn't believe in him. But the apostles, they was very spiritual. So the things in the Bible are double to that which is spiritual and physical. Because
That's right. That's right. We got this precept too, right? Genesis 1:14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So the Most High, He created the sun and the stars and the moon. And these, like it states, are for men to measure the times, or measure the times, see what season, right, both physically and spiritually you're living in. All right, because remember the brother just brought out that the scriptures are double to that which is. Okay, so just as you have the physical summer, as the Lord talks about in the book of Luke, I believe chapter 21, when the summer draweth nigh, right? You know that the tender, or the fig tree is tender, roughly paraphrasing. You know that summer is nigh. So, the Lord, He talks about these things on both a physical and spiritual level. So that's what we're going to bring out, Lord willing, right, in this video. So come.
I got one more precept.
Come.
First chapter 2 and verse 13. Which things also we speak, not in the words which men's wisdom teach, but which the Holy Spirit teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. So if you're a man of the Lord and you have the Holy Spirit resting upon you, you're going to compare spiritual things with spiritual. You're going to read something on the main fold, on the physical fold, then you're going to break it down on the spiritual fold. That's what the man of the Lord doing, breaking down everything on a just balance, on a carnal level and on a spiritual level. So you being a woman of the Lord, a man of the Lord, you got to break it down on the carnal level, but as a just balance, you got to break it down on what? On the spiritual level as well.
Come. That's right. Just like how Mighty Brother Riot says too, everything is spiritual, man. Everything is double to that which is. Like literally, it could be looked at as this way, and it could be looked at as this way. So come. Right. So spring in the Bible, right? Let's kick it off with Genesis 8:22. All right, Genesis 8:22. You trying to read that for me, Baba Shah?
Coming up. Genesis chapter 8, 2, and it reads, while the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
Right. So these things shall not cease while the earth remaineth. Seed time and harvest. That's the thing I want to point out, right? As well as you see right here, and cold and heat, and summer and winter. So summer and winter are clearly identified in the scriptures, right? And are translated as such, summer and winter. So these things are in the Bible. All right. The Bible, remember, is not just about damn Jesus with a child on his lap, or damn flowers, hugs and kisses. That's not the Bible. The Bible also covers the seasons, the seed time, the harvest, the cold, the heat, the summer, the winter. The Lord talks about this, all about this, on a spiritual and physical level. So real quick, I want to go into the Hebrew for the word real quick. In Genesis 8:22, talking about the seed time and the harvest. Okay, so the seed time. So is Zerah.
Strong's H2233. Zerah.
Zerah, right? So seed, sown, offspring, a seed, offspring, descendants, posterity, children. So remember, this is a figurative. This is a word name which goes into seed or sowing, but it could also be looked at as a figurative sense as well. But let's just go to this entry real quick. It says prop sowing, hence seed time, the time of sowing, i.e. winter. Genesis 8:22, Leviticus chapter 26, verse 5, also a planting, Isaiah 17:11. You see that? So when you go into this word for seed time, when it says winter, it's not talking about the dead of winter, right? Because obviously you can't plant. If you plant anything, it's not going to grow. So it's talking about the winter time, in which the temperature will rise up a little bit more. And so there wouldn't be as much snow, wouldn't be as cold as in the dead of winter, which is in the middle of it, the peak of it, the zenith of that winter, right? Remember, because winter, it's a transitional phase. It's not just, damn fall one day and then the next, just immediately it's winter. No, it's a transitional phase. So within that transitional phase, you would have our people to plant seeds in the ground. And so they'll wait for that springtime to come back up, in which their plants will come back up or will spring up, right? Will grow, and you could also, they did it. It really depends on your geographical location and where and what type of seeds you're planting as well, right? Because remember, this is just a general term, the seed time, right? Pecan. So if that's seed time, right, and we go into harvest as well, harvest, right? The crop, the time of harvest. So the time of harvest for wheat would be what? Summer. The harvest time for wheat would be summer, right? Because let's get this real quick, right? The time of harvest, right? The time of harvest, right? What is the time of harvest, right? The time of year when a crop or crops are harvested, especially autumn, right? There was also a article that said, or the time of harvest for wheat, right? I believe it would be summer. See that? It grows over winter. So it says it is planted in the fall, usually between October and December, and grows over the winter to be harvested in the spring or early summer. Typically, it takes about 7 to 8 months to reach maturity, and it creates pretty golden contrast in spring gardens. So all that is spiritual as well. But we're just pointing out right now the physical aspect of it, right? Of you planting, and that all, it's like in conclusion that all is included in the scriptures, right? All right, let's just go back to this real quick. All right. So the definition of spring, right? Real quick, the season after winter and before summer, in which vegetation begins to appear in the northern hemisphere from March to May, and in the southern hemisphere from September to November. All right. And so spring. So the etymology, real quick. So this proves also, when you just go into the etymology, the word for spring, it proves that is the first season of the year. Spring is the first season of the year. Because when did this year start? During the month of Bib, right? Right around the Passover. That's the beginning of years, right? So it says what? Season following winter, first of the 4 seasons of the year. It says first of the 4 seasons. So why do we then celebrate New Year's in damn winter? It doesn't make any sense, right? The season in which plants begin to rise. That's where you get the word spring from, to spring out. The spring of the year, right? It says by 1540s, short for spring of the year in 1520s, a special sense of an otherwise now archaic spring, act or time of springing or appearing, the first appearance, the beginning, birth, rise, or origin. So, and this is taken from Edamon online, right? But literally, it says the beginning, birth, rise, or origin of anything, right? In a general sense, the spring. So that word spring, when we talk about the seasons, it's the beginning of the seasons. It's the beginning of the year, beginning of the seasons. It's a new cycle. And remember, the Lord deals with recycling, right? Let's get a precept on that real quick, right? Let's get this in the book of Ecclesiastes. So the Lord, he deals with recycling, okay? He uses certain spirits over and over and over again. Hey, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 15. That which have been is now. So that which have been, the things that have came to pass back then, is now, right? It's came back, right? For example, there were prophets back during the time of, I'll say the time of apostles, right? The time of apostles, right after Yahushua had died or passed away, and then rose up again and was received into a cloud. From that point on, the Acts of the Apostles right? You can read about that in the Acts of the Apostles. Literally, the Acts of the Apostles are back now, right? We're in the living during the time of Acts. If you have ears to hear, right? It says that which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been. So what's going to come to pass, right, in the future, literally has already been, right, in a more metaphorical way, right? And God requires that which is past. So the Most High requires that which is past. He deals with recyclation. If you have ears to hear. Con, you got a king.
Come on. I just want to touch on the point that you made earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get this real quick. 1 Samuel chapter 9 and verse, 26. And it reads, "And they arose early, and it came to pass about the spring of the day." Now, the spring of the day is when the sun starts to rise. And that's why spring rise and grow. On a physical level, that's when your crops, your all your fruit, your trees, and things of that nature. That's when they rise and grow and sprout in this thing. Then the harvest in the summertime, that's when you pick them up and gather them. On the spiritual level, you growing in this thing. You growing. The seed was planted. Now you growing. You rising. That's why you got Kwame Yasharala. Rise Israel. As a whole nation, we rising in this thing, man. So on a spiritual level, we rising as a nation, right? But that's all. You got it.
Con, that's right. That's right. See that? Springing, and we come into the spring, springing up as a nation. Con, that's right. See that? So it says the earliest form seems to have been spring in time, right? The notion of the spring of the year when plants begin to rise and trees to bud. That's why we see during the spring, everything's coming back out, everything's coming back out because it's a new cycling, You go from spring, real quick, right? Let's go back to that. You go from spring, start of the year, everything's out, everything's good, the weather's nice. The birds are out, the trees begin to bud, the flowers bud, the bears are out, the wolves are gone, etc., etc. That's the spring. And it'll go to the summer, it gets hot, right? It'll go to the autumn, it starts getting cold, and it'll go to the winter. That's the end. And it'll come back again, right? Spring. So that's how it goes, man. And you should not be celebrating the damn New Year in the winter. It doesn't make any sense, right? It's in the spring, right? But we also know that it goes back to damn pagan worship, right? And sin. Come, right? Real quick. It says the Middle English noun also was used of sunrise, the waxing of the moon, rising tides, sprouting of the beard or pubic hair, right? Sunrise, moonrise, right? Let's see here. The Germanic tend to take words for fur or early, right? 4 year. All right. Come, but yeah, let's play this video real quick. So you can see the transitioning from winter to spring. As the temperature begins to rise, the snow melts. See that?
The audio cut out.
Nah, I just muted it. It's just music. So, all right. But yeah, you get the point. You know what I'm saying? You get the point, right? You get the point. It's literally spring, right? We all know what spring is, right? We should know what spring is. That's a lucky, right? Oh, shalom, shalom, servant of the Most High. It's lucky, right? Let me share back my screen, right? All right, so let's get into these scriptures, right? So the physical application as well as spiritual application as well, right? So let's go to Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. All right.
From Solomon, chapter 2, and verse 11. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone.
Wait, the what is past?
The winter is past.
So what season is after winter? The spring. You see that? So we talking about the spring here, right? The winter is past, the rain is over and gone. Because remember, the rain, when it's raining, hey, is it hot as hell? When it rains, the temperature tends to go down because remember, it's raining, it's cloudy. You know what I'm saying? Not all the time, but usually that's what happens. The temperature will drop a little bit, right? So what does that mean? That winter is that state, or actually, let's just keep reading. Let's read the precept, right? I just want to analyze all of it right now. But
Can I read it again?
yeah, you can read it again.
Song of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 11. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone, the flowers appear on the earth. The time of the singing of birds is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard in our land. The fig tree putteth forth her green figs, and the vines with the tender grape give a good smell. Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away.
All praises, right? So this describes winter to a T. You know what I'm saying? I'm just lucky, spring to a T, because it's when the rain is over, the winter is past. Remember, the season after winter is spring, right? The flowers appear on the earth, right? You see the flowers come about, right? Blossoming. The time of singing of birds. You start hearing the birds come out. Because remember, in the winter, you didn't hear the birds. You didn't hear them sing like how you hear them sing in the spring, right? The time singing of birds has come. The voice of the turtle is heard in our land. The fig tree is now putting forth her figs, and that's a fig tree right there, right? It starts blossoming, it starts growing again. Because remember, things in winter do not grow, right? There's not anything growing in the winter, right? As much as the spring, you know what I'm saying? I'll put it like that, as much as the spring. You can't properly live in the winter if you haven't prepared. If you weren't preparing during summer and the seasons before that, right? In the autumn before winter, you will not have anything in the winter to eat. You know what I'm saying? You'll be starving because remember, it's cold as hell. And if it's cold, if it's cloudy, it's dark, you can't grow anything. You know what I'm saying? You need water, you need the sunlight, as it states also in the book of First Corinthians, chapter 3. You know, like, hey, let's get that precept real quick, right? You need these things. And in the winter, you don't get it. All right. First Corinthians chapter 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6. I had planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. Right? What is that increase on a physical level? Right? Because remember, Paul is speaking on a spiritual level. He's talking about, ministering and teaching the word, right? But if you literally plant a seed in the ground, but it's cold as hell, you don't really have that much water, and it's cloudy, so you don't have that increase, you don't have that sunlight, right? Because remember, the Most High is light as well on a spiritual level, but you don't have that sunlight shining upon that seed that you planted, and you can forget about it. You can forget about it. It's not going to grow. You can do anything you want. You can blow on it. You can kind of dig it deeper. You could stomp on it. It's not going to do anything, right? But if you had a point, bring it out.
And on a physical application, let me get this real quick in Isaiah chapter 44 and verse 3. Because on a real level, man, the only reason why we was prospering, of course, because of Most High, but it's the reason why our crops was growing, because the Lord would give us rain. If we didn't have rain, like sometimes the Lord would stop the rain, and guess what? Our crops won't grow. It'll be a famine in the land, right? Wait, read 2 Kings chapter 6. But I'm gonna get this real quick in Isaiah chapter 44 and verse 3, and it reads, "For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thy offspring, and they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the water courses." Now, yeah, you can break this down on a spiritual level, on one level, but on another level, though, the Lord, he's the one that blesses your crops, blesses the fruit of thy hand, the things that you plant, whether it be apple trees, whether it be a plum tree, it be a vineyard. The Lord sends rain and he gives enough light, which is spiritual too, right? For your plants and your vineyard to grow in this thing in the spring. So in the summertime, you can be able to reap the fruit in this thing, man. Right? But come.
That's right. That's right. Con. So yeah, let's break down that precept on a spiritual level, man. Right? If we go back to Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11, we read that one more time, right? Let's read that one more time, right?
Song of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 11. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone.
Right. So the winter on a spiritual level represents what? The time we're living in right now. All right. The time we're living in right now. It's winter out here. And we, you can watch the previous video. We're going through the winter and the fall. Right. But we're living during the time of the spiritual winter. Remember, in the winter, what happens? The darkness prevails. It's more hours within a day, 24 hours, right? Within the day, when I say day, I'm talking about 24 hours, right? Within that 24-hour increment of time, there's more darkness than there is light. So the darkness prevails and the light is losing in this thing, right? On the spiritual or physical level, even on the spiritual level. How many brothers are in the truth in this world? Not enough, right? Not enough. The wicked outweigh the righteous in numbers. There's way more wicked people and that don't know the truth, right? That rebel against the Most High. They don't keep the commandments. They're dark. They hate darkness. I mean, it's like they hate the light, but they love the darkness. There's way more of those individuals in the earth right now than there are righteous. Let's get this precept real quick in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 18. All right, 1 Kings, chapter 18. Man. All right, 1 Kings, chapter 18, and verse number 22. Then said Elijah unto the people, even I only remain a prophet of the Lord, but by all his prophets are 450 men. So, even Elijah said, right, it's only me in this thing. I only remain a prophet of the Lord, but by all his prophets are 450 men. Remember, the wicked are always going to be more in number than the righteous, unto the kingdom of heaven, that is. In this world, because remember, in this world, who has dominion? That's Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And Job chapter 10, right? Believe verses 21 on down, right? This is the land of darkness right here. So it's the winter. It's cold, It's cold. You don't have any garments. You need the heat. You need the light, which is Yahushua, right? You're looking for the light. You can't see because this winter is cold. It's dark. It's, there's not much sunlight. It's cloudy. And that winter also is symbolic for what? Because remember that cold it's adversity, man. Right? That cold is adversity. Try walking down the streets of damn, I don't know, Montana. Right? It gets hella cold up there. Right? Canada, Washington State, during the winter without any clothes on. You won't make it. Right? You won't make it. It's too cold. It's adversity. When you've been cold, you've been hella cold. That is adversity right there. So that winter is also symbolic for what? The time we're living in right now, Jacob's trouble, all hell breaking loose, etc., etc. And so that springtime, but what? After that Jacob's trouble, what happens? Israel's delivered. Israel is put back in the kingdom. Israel is saved, and that's that spring, that peace upon the earth. The wolves are gone, etc., etc. The birds are singing, Con, you got a precept.
Okay, John chapter 9 and verse 5, right? Because what's it called? It's not going to just be spring one night, one day in the daytime. You go to sleep, you wake up. Now it was winter one day, you wake up. Now it's spring. It's a slow transition. Same thing with us. We're slowly coming from darkness into that marvelous light, like it says in First Peter, right? So we're slowly transitioning from that winter to that spring. We've been a long time in this winter, man, this dark winter. A lot of wickedness, a lot of folly in Israel. Now we waking up. Now we're growing as a nation. Because if remember, in the springtime, you grow and you rise. That's why we always say Kwam Yasharala, which means rise Israel. Because now we get that light, which is Yahushua, in the true understanding, in the true living waters, which is sprinkled upon us to make us grow. But this is the book of John, chapter 9, and verse 5. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. Straight like that, Yahushua. As long as Yahushua, which is the truth, right? Is what's it called? It says, he's the light of the world. We're going to continue to grow. And in order for you to grow, you need what? You need water and you need light. It's a just balance. You need that water, which represents Yahushua, and that light represents Yahushua. We grow as a nation. We're coming from that dark winter, right? And again, like the brother was saying, in the winter, not just growing, not just prospering. Go try to play basketball at what's it called at 9 a.m. in the morning when it's in December or in January or February. Guess what? Your hand's gonna be freezing. You can't really dribble how you want to dribble. Your hand's frozen, right? You might, you can't really do how much. You can't really do what you want to do. But in the springtime, you're more comfortable, more relaxed. You feel good in spirit, right? Everything is just positive. And guess what? Now you ball on that court because it's a different season, right? And the sun is out. And you warmed up in this thing. But Salaki, you got it.
Con, that's right. That's right, man. Con. That's right, man. That winter is adversity. Okay. And you know when it's winter. All right. You know when it's winter. Con, yeah, that spring, all right, will be symbolic of that kingdom of heaven coming in. You know, the kingdom of heaven, that peace, that tranquility. You know, let's get this precept real quick. Isaiah chapter 14. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse number 7. I'm sorry, verse 6. Things gonna be good.
Yeah, the whole chapter, nice.
God. All right. All right. Hey, you trying to read for me real quick? Hey, let's start at verse 1, man. Let's start at verse 1. We'll read verse. God. I'm gonna show my. Let's lock it real quick. I'm gonna show my screen so we can follow along too. Go. All right. Go. Let's go.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land.
Right, Slocky, because the Israelites are not in their own land right now. The real Israelites are not in their own land. Okay, and this prophecy will tell you why and show you how. All right, but let's keep reading.
And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
So these strangers right here are not Israelite foreigners. They're actual heathen. Okay, because remember, it says that right here that the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, who is that? The Israelites, and will yet choose Israel, or those the Israelites, right? Set them in their own land. And they're strangers, because this shows you that when the Israelites go back to their own land, because they're not in their own land right now, they go back to their own land, the strangers, other nations, are going to be joined with them, right? Just like that. That's why I tell people, people, they try to bash on the doctrine. I said, okay, yeah, the heathen, they're going to be in the kingdom, right? But what are they going to be doing? They're going to be servants and handmaids. We're going to get to that, right? They're not going to be, you're not going to be on the throne,
right?
What you think you're going to be on the throne, right? You think you're going to be, all right, but ain't no damn heathen going to be sitting next to Yahushua. All right, I'll tell you, I'll say it like that right now. All right, but they're going to cleave to the house of Jacob, just like how the whole world cleaves to Esau. Can you please give me a green card? Can I please come to your country? You know what I'm saying? Can I please learn of you, learn of your doctrine? Can I please integrate into your society? Can I please, right? They're cleaving to the house of Esau, just like how they do that to them. And our people do that to Esau, they're going to be doing it to us, right? Keep going, King.
and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob,
Come.
and people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Mm-hmm.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Mighty verse, because it says that we're going to possess them. If I say that this is my possession, what am I saying? I'm saying that this belongs to me, right? If I'm saying that this is my possession, I'm saying that this belongs to me. When people talk about spiritual possession, like a spirit is, you're possessed basically with a spirit. That spirit owns you because they control your every move, your thoughts, your mind, your every move. That spirit is possessing you. They own you, man. Just like how Satan, some certain men are servants to Satan. The Lord said, whosoever committed sin is the servant of sin. That word servant literally goes into slave, you know. And in the book of Acts, it talks about all those that were oppressed of the devil, because literally Satan is a slave master. All right. Jake talks about, I'm free. I'm a free man, right? I'm a free man. I don't serve anybody. Well, first of all, you do serve Esau. And second of all, you serve Satan, man. You don't even know it. You serve your own sins. You can't put down the weed. You can't put down the blunt. You can't stop breaking the Sabbath. You just can't do it. You just got to chase the bag, right? You can't stop damn fornicating, right? You just can't stop because that servant or us like it, that slave master, Satan, is having the rule over you. But anyways, it says that the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, man. They're going to be servants and handmaids, slaves. Like you had a point about it.
Oh, you got it, King.
Right? And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. This shows you that those people that, and this validates so many scriptures, right? But this validates, most importantly, Revelation 13 and 10, right? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity by those same people who they put into captivity as well, right? If that makes sense. They shall take them captives whose captives they were. We are Esau's captives right now, so-called white man. We're serving him, and we have been serving him for 400 years, over plus, right? But now, but in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to rule over them, right? We're going to take them captive. You know what I'm saying? That's plenty of the scripture, man. Plenty. All right. When we brothers come into the truth, this is one of the first things we learn, But come on.
Keep going.
Yeah, we can go in.
Verse 4. That thou shalt take up this province.
Slocky, verse 3, actually.
Slocky, verse 3.
Come.
And it shall come to pass, in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, that thou shalt. You got it.
Slocky, as you want to make a point, that rest that we're going to have, that's in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, because remember, we don't have rest right here in this captivity. All right, let's read real quick Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse number 65, right? Because remember, in the winter, this lets you know that this is a spiritual winter too. Because in the wintertime, you don't really have that rest if you're in the cold all the time. You can't really rest. You always on your 10 toes, you're tensing up because your body's trying to preserve heat. You're stiff, right? Like this. You don't have any rest. You can't have rest in the cold. You know what I'm saying? What else? Your heart is beating fast because you're trying to get blood to certain places that's not getting it, right? So your heart is automatically beating faster. If you're going into hypothermia, that's another case. But your heart is beating faster, right? It's a whole bunch of things. But let's read that precept.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse, you said 65? Verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, either shall the sole of thy foot, have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind.
You see that? So that lets you know in Isaiah 14:3, that lets you know that this is in the kingdom of heaven when we're going to have rest. Because remember, when are the curses going to be lifted up from us? In the kingdom, right? Let's get that precept real quick. Revelation chapter 22, right? Revelation 22, right? And verse number 3.
Rev-
Revelation 13. Come, you got it.
Revelation chapter 22 and verse 3. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him.
You see that? So there's not going to be any more curse. That's plain. No more curses. The curses are going to be poured out upon the heathen, as it states in Deuteronomy 13:7. But there's not going to be any curses on us. So in Isaiah 14:3, that lets you know that this is talking about in the kingdom of heaven. All right. Going into that spiritual springtime. Remember, in the springtime, just like how Ahbayah said, the weather's warm. You know what I'm saying? It's warm, it's cool. You know, you get to relax. You know, hey, it's a relaxation type of period. You know what I'm saying? Come. Right. Yeah, we can go back to that in Isaiah 14, unless you have a point of precept.
We keep going. I'll let you finish on yours, and I'll hop in.
Con.
But Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 4,
Mm-hmm.
that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased?
Mm-hmm.
The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindereth.
You see that? So, and also, real quick, I want to make a point in verse 4, because remember, scoffers sometimes will use verse 4, okay? Because they will take it completely out of context. They will say this, right? That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. So they'll take that precept and say, see, verse 1 through 3 is a proverb, right? It says, thou shalt take this proverb, right? So what are you talking about? You Israelites, you don't even know what's going on. This is a proverb. It's not talking about slavery. What? Get out of here. That's what they actually say sometimes. So what sayest thou? Right? What are we to say about that? It's simple, right? It's simple because real quick, right? The proverb is not talking about verses 1 through 3, stupid, right? It's talking about this, how have the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased, and then on down from that. That's the proverb that Isaiah is bringing, not Isaiah 1 through 3, right? Because remember, Israel, Isaiah 1 through 3 is talking about Israel. That's the subject. You know what I'm saying? The salvation of Israel, and yeah, basically the salvation of Israel and the restoration of thereof. So it's not talking about that. So I just want to put that out there. If any brother ran across a Christian that may want to use that, right? But come and yeah, we can go back to verse 7 though. Here's the point.
Verse 7, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
They break forth into singing. This reminds us of spring. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. You see that? They break forth into singing. Because when we go back to Song of Solomon 2 and 11, you know, it talks about the birds singing, you know. Song of Solomon, right, that peace, that tranquility upon the earth. Song of Solomon 2 and you know, verse 12, right?
Verse 12, the
Mm-hmm.
flowers appear on the earth. The
Mm-hmm.
time of the singing of birds is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard in our land.
You see that it's like the time of the singing of birds is come, and even on another level, birds are referred to as people, right? Let's go to that real quick and forgot exactly where this precept was. let's go to I believe it's Matthew 13. Come on, Matthew 13:31. Right, let's go to this real quick. Right, let's see how birds are also nations as well.
Matthew chapter 13 and verse 34. And it
30,
reads
31.
31. And it
Uh-huh.
reads, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field.
Right, so a mustard seed is not big at all. Right, mustard seed is not big at all. You see that? That's somebody's finger, and that's the grain of a mustard seed right there. See that? So mustard seed is not small. I mean, it's not big at all. It's very small, right? But the Lord is likening the mustard seed onto the kingdom of heaven. Who is the kingdom of heaven? Is this an actual, is he talking about a physical place? Right? The kingdom of heaven kind of started off small, like a grain of a mustard seed. You can kind of see, the house of Peter, right there, the house. You got the 12 tribe gate right there, and got river right there, and gate around it. No, it's not talking about like an actual physical kingdom of heaven. It's talking about a spiritual kingdom of heaven. We're the kingdom of heaven, right? Let's get some precepts on that real quick. Luke chapter 17 and verse number 20.
Luke 17 and verse 20. And it reads, and when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of God should come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of God cometh not with observation.
Right, so
Neither
you can't, God, it's lucky. You can't just sit around and be like, hey, what the hell is the kingdom of heaven at? You're looking at the sky. Is that the kingdom of heaven? No, it's just a plane. Right. We're just looking in the sky, like, where the hell is the kingdom? No, the kingdom is not just going to come by observation. You have to put in the work. All right, come.
one. Neither shall they say, lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you.
The kingdom of God is where?
Is within you.
Nah, it's in the sky.
Is within you.
It's within you, man. That's it. Man, we're the kingdom of heaven. That's plain, man. Yahweh Shah said that, man. We're the kingdom of heaven. That's why we got to build each other up, right? Build ourselves up, right? Build each other up. Let's go to 1 Peter 2 and 5 real quick.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 5.
Come.
Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house.
A spiritual what?
A spiritual house.
You see that? Come.
In holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God by Yahweh Mashiach.
Come. And let's read into verse 6.
Verse 6. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded.
Shall not be confounded, man. So yeah, Yahweh Shah is our foundation. And we're the kingdom of heaven that's on that foundation of Yahweh Shah. Right? We're the spiritual temple of the Most High. That's second Corinthians chapter 6, verse 16, 1 Corinthians 3 and 16. Right? We're the spiritual house, you know what I'm saying? Right. And we're the spiritual a lot of things, but we're also the spiritual kingdom of heaven. Right. Let's go back to that parable, Matthew 13. Actually, let's get one more precept. I like this precept, 1 Corinthians 3:9. It's 3 for the number completion.
Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 9. And it reads, for we are laborers together with God. You are God's husbandry. You are God's building.
You're God's what?
You are God's building.
See that? That's plain, man. You're God's building. Right? We're his husbandry. We're his building. A lot of spiritual things. All right. So come.
Let me get precept too real quick. Let me see.
You got it.
Right, because we're building up this spiritual temple, right? The house of the Lord in this thing, man.
Mhm.
For the 2 Timothy. Actually, let me see. Actually, no, we can move on. I can't find it right now. Yeah, we can move on. We can go.
Con. And Con, the brother said Con's future slaves. See that? Future slave. I'm probably talking about referring to Isaiah. Con. But yeah, let me go back to share my screen. Yeah. You sure you don't want to bring out a precept?
I can get the classic, but you already kind of touched on it in 1 Corinthians 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's up to you. If you want to bring it out, you could. But yeah, Con.
Are we in Matthew still, or are we in Isaiah?
Con, Matthew 13:31. Let's just read 31 again. We're just gonna read to 32.
Matthew chapter 31 Matthew chapter 13 and verse 31. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field.
Right. So he sold it in his field, right?
Which indeed is the least of all seeds.
It's the
But
least of all seeds. Con, like it's the least of all seeds, right? You saw how very small it was, Con.
but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs.
Mm-hmm.
Cometh the tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof.
Aha. So if we are the seed, right? If we're the grain of mustard seed, if we're the kingdom of heaven, right? Kingdom of heaven. If we're the kingdom of heaven that's being likened onto this mustard seed, we're being planted into the ground and we're growing into this beautiful, beautiful tree. Right? Let's look up a mustard tree. Right. Boom, look at that tree. It started off like this. The mustard seed started off like this. Now look how big of a tree it is. Look at that growth. You know, that's like, hey, what is that like? You know, like 36 feet in the air. You know, give or take. I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure. Right? That's pretty. That's pretty damn high, man. You know, that's a mustard tree. You know, and it looks like there's different types, but you see that? That's a mustard tree, and it started off like this. So if we are that mustard seed, or that kingdom of heaven that's being likened onto that mustard seed, growing into that tree, that beautiful tree, and we know that men are referred to as trees. That's plain. That, you know, we don't even have to go into that. But who are the birds of the air that lodge in the branches there? The other nations. Right? Yeah, they're going to lodge in the branches. They're going to have to lodge under our tree, though. They're going to have to come to us. That's what that's signifying. You see that? That the birds, they come to us. They are residents. You know, they're not the tree. They're residents of the tree. They're living off the tree, but they're not the tree. See that? So what does that tell you? That shows you superiority. That shows you the hierarchy. We are the tree that is supplying the needs and the wants of the bird. And the bird is under us because without the tree, there would be no bird. The bird would starve and, you know, they wouldn't have anywhere to go. You know what I'm saying? So that shows you that superiority, right? Shows you that the Lord, even Yahushua, yeah, sweet Jesus, he doesn't like the damn heathen. All right, he doesn't like the heathen. But yeah, precept point.
The book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 1, right? Because those birds represent the other nations. They got to find a place to rest and seek refuge, right?
Mm-hmm.
This book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 1. And he shewed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations, man. Right? So the leaves of the tree, that was for the nations. They got the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We got more than what the nations got. We actually eating in this thing, but these nations too, they're gonna have to come to us, lodge in that tree, cleave to us to get the healing and the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Going to that same parable, like it says in Matthew chapter 13. And also in Zechariah, we'll get another precept real quick. All right, we're kind of going to the future prophecy in this thing, man. Zechariah chapter 8. These other nations are going to cleave unto us. They will have no choice but to. Because in order to get to Yahweh Shai and the Most High, they're going to have to come through us. In Zechariah chapter 8, I want to get straight to the point. In verse 23, and it reads, actually, no, I'll start verse 21, and it reads, and the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, let us go speedily to pray before the Lord and to seek the Lord of hosts. I will go also. Yet many people and strong nations shall come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem and to pray before the Most High. Right? So all these nations, right, they're going to want to seek the Most High and Son Yahushua. Right? Verse 23, thus saith the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that men, meaning a complete amount of men, right, shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. So they want to cleave to us in order to get close with the Most High God, man. They're going to have to come to us in this thing. It's like I got one more precept, so like here. One more.
Oh no, you got it. You got it.
I'm gonna get Isaiah chapter 2. All right, Isaiah chapter 2, real quick. Look what happened with Ruth. She was cleaving to Naomi in this thing. She said she wouldn't serve our God, and she would have no problem with doing that. And that's what's called. What's it called? That's a symbolic book right there on how the kingdom of heaven is going to be, on how they want to treat us and be around us in this thing.
Right.
A lot of people like to think of the kingdom of heaven always beating somebody down. You got to stick out of nowhere. It kind of just appears out of nowhere. You beating your slave for no reason, man. His work, doing everything he needs to do out of nowhere. You got to stick out of nowhere and beat him half dead. You got to take care of your slaves too. And don't get me wrong, we're going to beat down the nations though. But you got to be wise as a certain. You got to be not wise, but you got to be wise on how you treat your slaves, because that's your what's it called, your property and your money. Right, but I'm gonna get this real quick. Two in verse 2, and it reads, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it. So all nations going to want to flow into the house of the Lord, right? Moabites, the Ammonites, the Elamites, the dang Africans, the Hamites, right? The Ishmaelites, the Edomites, right? They're gonna be out of here. Verse 3: people shall go and say, come ye, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. So they're gonna be yearning to get close with the Most High God, because he's the true and righteous God. He's the King of Kings and the Lords of Lords. So in order to learn the law, statute, commandments, they're going to have to come to us and and cleave to us, and we'll teach them. So come, you got it.
Mm-hmm. God, that's right. That's right. All praise to the Most High, man. Brothers going in to precepts, lining upon line, here a little, there a little, right? All praises, man. I got a precept for that too. This is Ezekiel chapter 47, verse 8. Then said he unto me, these waters issue out toward the east country, and go down into the desert, and go into the sea, which being brought forth into the sea, the water shall be healed. And it shall come to pass that everything that liveth, which moveth, whatsoever the river shall come, shall live. And there shall be a very great multitude of fish, because these waters shall come thither. For they shall be healed, and everything shall live, whether the river cometh. You see that? So they're going to be healed. These other nations are going to be healed, man. But that doesn't mean that we're going to be All right, here's your crown. Here's your crown. All right, hey, come up here, Esau. Sit next to me. Right. Hey, get out the way, Peter. This for hey, hey, Andrew. Hey, Andrew's like, hey, hey, it's my favorite Edomite right here. Hey, you want to sit? You want to sit on my throne? Hey, just try it. Let's see how you look, man. I'm gonna put my crown on. Yeah, he takes off his crown, puts it on Esau. You know, hey, bro, no, that's not going to happen. They're going to be healed. What does that mean? They're going to put, like like the brother said, like we're not Esau, all right? We're not Esau. So in the kingdom of heaven, heathen, they're going to be doing their job. We're going to be beating them down, of course. They're going to have a harsh captivity, but we're not going to be damn, you know, damn castration. hey, that's off. You know what I'm saying? That's off. Like they're going to be healed. All right. Hey, remember after the 1,000 years of captivity, remember, let's get that in Revelation chapter 20 real quick, right? So remember, like the, but did you bring out precept when it talked about the captivity Elam?
Uh,
All right, yeah. So like, let's get that one real quick, right? Ezekiel. Who's that was with? Is that Ezekiel or Jeremiah? I think that might have been Jeremiah. That's Jeremiah 49 and 39. I can read it real quick. Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 39. But it shall come to pass in the latter days, meaning in the end times, right? Kingdom connotation, that I will bring again the captivity of Elam, saith the Lord. So that scripture is double fold too, but literally, the Lord is going to bring back the captivity of Elam. He's going to bring back the captivity of all these different nations, right? And they're literally after the 1,000 years, they're going to have that time in which they can go back to their land. They could, live a little bit, in peace. Esau is going to be out the way because that's what we read in Isaiah chapter 14. That's that spring right there, that tranquility. When Esau's put out the way, let's read that real quick in Isaiah chapter 14 because that's basically why we bring this out. Link it back up with this. Isaiah 14 and verse number 7 again, right through 8.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 7. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us.
That's right. You see that? The fir trees. Are these actual fir trees? No, man. It's a proverb, it's a parable, right? That's the fir trees is going into men, right? Nations. So then the nations are going to be rejoicing, right? The nations are actually going to be rejoicing when Esau is put down. Because they're going to be like, hey, since you were put down, Esau, no fella has came up against us. No fella has came up and said, take the damn shot. Nobody has came up and said, hey, you gotta sign this, you gotta sign the life off for it. What does Esau say, bro, to these nations?
They be taking their land. They be all up in somebody's land, man. They be everybody's land.
Right. Taking their land. Sorry, we had to take this, hey, since thou art laid down, Esau, nobody has bombed us, right? And we in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to be going over to the land of Moab, right? The chariot for no damn reason, man. We're not gonna be doing that, right? Cause shalom, Brock Thamos, shalom, brother Baruch, right? That's big bro right there, man. Right, but yeah, we're not gonna be doing that, right? Right. So, hey, they're gonna be break forth into singing. Let's get that. Hey, let's get the classic real quick. Proverbs 29 and 2.
Proverbs 9 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Right. And people are in mourning right now to this day. To this day, they're in mourning, man. Right? Everybody. Let's get down Romans 8 real quick. You know, Romans chapter 8 and verse 22. All right.
You might have to get it right now.
Yeah, I got it. Romans 8 and 22. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. So the whole creation, right? What the brother said, Esau came to camp the other day and sat on a homeless Jake. Oh yeah, con. Yep. Jake Dog said this is ours. That's crazy. I think that was on video too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Pride of Esau, man.
Pride of Esau. That's right. Con. But yeah, like it says that what we know the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain until now. That's the whole creation. That's talking about the damn birds, to the damn sheep, to the damn goats, to the tigers. I remember I went to the zoo, in the world, a couple years ago. I went to the zoo, and damn, I saw a tiger inside of the cage, you know, and damn, Edomite's looking at the tiger and stuff, and he was just going to and fro. He was hella skinny, you know, didn't have anything in the cage really. He was just going walking to and fro. It was like, man, it's like I want to get out. He wants to get out. The whole creation groaneth until now. There was a damn polar bear in damn San Diego. You know how hot it is in San Diego? Well, it's not hella hot, but it's like it's he shouldn't be there, you know. He shouldn't be there. The whole creation groaneth until now. Hey, why do you think the damn birds are the damn bees are disappearing? You know? They're they're hey, it's because of Esau, it's because of damn Satan, the wicked. Why do you think certain animals they actually commit suicide, bro? I'm not even joking. A damn truck, damn 500, or actually not even 500, like 3,000-pound truck be going down the freeway, 60 miles per hour, right? 65 miles per hour, right? Going down the freeway. Hey, as a squirrel, as a certain type of animal, you know that this truck is dangerous. Yet you would jump at the right moment. You would jump out at the right time, and that squirrel would get hit by the truck. These animals sometimes are committing suicide. I'm not even joking, man. They're just committing suicide. Why? Because the whole creation groaneth until now, right? And even remember, we're creation of the Most High as well. So we grown it in our spirit. Our spirit is growing out as well, And that's because of Esau, because of wicked, because of Satan as well. Because remember, Satan and Esau, they work hand in hand, man. With this flesh and the pleasures of the world, et cetera, right? Pecan. Yeah, precept point. Okay.
Referring back to Isaiah chapter 14, now we're in the winter time right now. And winter time is, like your brother says, darkness, man. Darkness rules over the day. And right now, we're about to have judgment go forth, man. Right, let me get this precept real quick. Isaiah chapter 26 and I'll start verse 19. And it reads, Thy dead men shall live, together with my dead body shall they arise, go into the resurrection. Awake and sing, ye that dwell in the dust, for thy dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. Right, talking about the resurrection, when the Lord comes back to judge this wicked ass place, man. Verse 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers. Now, what are these chambers? Is it talking about a bedroom? Lord opened it. He got you an apartment complex. You go into the apartment, you go to the bedroom and close the door. No, these chambers are talking about the chariots. The Lord going to beam us up, right? We're going to enter into those chambers when the Lord destroyed this place. But it says, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. Right, so the Lord, He's going to beam us up out this dark winter, right, until when the Lord destroyed this place. Verse 21, for behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. And this links up with Song of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 8. Because in Song of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 8 down to verse 11, it goes into how the Lord will come back, right, skipping upon the mountains, destroying this place. Then after he get done destroying this place, let's get it real quick again. Real quick. Right. It says in Song of Solomon, chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 8. And it reads, the voice of my beloved, talking about Yahushua, behold, he cometh leaping upon the mountains, skipping upon the hills. That's what the Lord going to do when he come back. When it says leaping and skipping upon the mountains and hills, that means he's going forth to conquering and to conquer, destroying these nations. Verse 9, my beloved is like a roe or a young hart. Behold, he standeth behind our wall. He looketh forth at the windows, showing himself through the lattice. Right? The lattice is talking about the seeing the Lord in the firmament. And it can also mean, you can see this in the so-called spaceship, the chariot. He got windows, you can see the Lord in that thing, man.
Oh.
Verse 10, my beloved spake and said unto me, rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. That's when the Lord going to say when he beam you up in the chariot. Verse 11, for lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. So Isaiah 6 links up with Song of Solomon chapter 2. The Lord going to beam you up after this dark winter. He's going to destroy this place. You're going to get put in the kingdom of heaven. And guess what? That's the spring. That's a new beginning. That's when what's called everybody's rejoicing, tranquility, like the brother's saying, right? Everybody's at rest. Everybody's prospering. Springtime, things prosper. In the wintertime, things don't really prosper. But Khan.
Khan, that's right, man. All praises, all praises. Khan. Yeah, let's go to the book of Isaiah 35 and verse 1 real quick, right?
Isaiah. Okay, you got it.
Oh, you want to read or me?
I can read.
Khan, you good?
Isaiah chapter 35 and verse 1. The wilderness in a solitary place shall be glad for them. In the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose.
Khan. Oh, Khan, yeah, to verse 2, Khan.
It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it. The excellency of Carmel and Sharon, they shall see the glory of the Lord and the excellency of our God.
Khan, that's right. You see that? It says that what? It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice even with joy and singing. That's what? That's relates back to Isaiah chapter 14. The earth is going to be blossoming, right? With on a spiritual level, that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right, from the Most High God, right? And also us, because remember, men are referred to as grass and flowers, right? The glory of man is as flowers, right? I can get that real quick in Isaiah 40. Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 6, right? Isaiah 40 and 6. It says, the voice said, cry. And he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof is as the flower of the field. That's when the grass starts getting green again. Because remember, in the winter, especially here in Cali, right? And here in Cali, remember, it doesn't get that much rain, so it may be different in the ATL and the DC, right? Wherever, right? But when it actually gets after the amount of rain, but basically, the ground will be like brown. The ground would be brown. It would be dead. It wouldn't be, it wouldn't be green, right? In the winter, right? Especially where it's cold at, the grass wouldn't be as green, right? Because it would be basically either if it's too cold to be frozen, the ground will be hard, etc., not apt to be growing anything, right? And so when that grass starts coming back, that's during the springtime, in which the snow will melt. You know what I'm saying? It will start getting warmer, and that sun will start coming out, so that grass and that vegetation can actually grow. So likewise, when we go to Isaiah chapter 40, verse 6, The voice said, cry, and he shall say, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof is as the flower of the field. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, because the Spirit of the Lord bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass. And that also just relates back to the lifespan of man, how it can be how it can be relatable to grass. You can just pick up grass like that, just throw it over there, right? And it'll be done away with, you know. Come.
I'm not sure no more.
Con, all praise, right? So yeah, you know, that's literally the spring. All right, that's the spring. All right. I mean, I guess we, you know, touched on a lot of stuff. We touched on a lot of stuff about the spring, but let me see if I have one more precept on that though. But yeah, you know, that's the spring. So we can real quick touch on summer right now.
Just real quick. Ecclesiastes. Classic, then kick it off. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. Okay, you got it. Go ahead.
So like one more thing about the spring, right? One more thing about the spring. I forgot about this slide. It's James 5 and 7. So the spiritual and physical application. So James 5 and 7, right? Let's read that real quick. It says, be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth and have long patience for it until he received the early and latter rain. So James is saying, hey, be patient unto the coming of the Lord. We have to be patient in this thing, man. If we're not patient, then, you know, we lack faith, you know, literally. Brothers, they fall out because they think that Yahushua is going to come on their timeline. You know, think that, well, the Lord's not here. It doesn't really look like things are picking back up. Might as well go back into the world. You know, wasn't there a brother that said on a comment board that said, you know, he's going to go back into the world and he's going to come back, right? He's going to come back when things start getting bad. Right. I remember Naquan brought that out, bro.
God forbid.
Yeah, God forbid, man. It's great. He said he's going to go back into the world. He's going to come back when he's going to come back into the truth when things start getting, you know, hitting the fan. You know? So you know, we can't lose patience. All right, we can't lose patience, man. All right, let's get that parable real quick in Matthew 26. It's like not 26, Matthew 24, right, in verse 44. Sorry, verse 44.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 44. And it reads, therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh.
So the Lord's going to come when you don't even suspect it, man. But let's skip to the point in verse 48.
Verse 48. But, and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming.
So what is that? That's the lack of faith right there. You losing patience. My Lord delayeth his coming. Hey, where is he at? Keep checking the clock. Where is he at? I thought he's going to come. You know, he's losing patience. You know what I'm saying? I could be doing other stuff. Right? Come on, let's keep going, right?
So look, you got people saying, my teacher told me when I first came to this truth that our salvation is nearer than when we believe. What the heck is going on, man? Right? And they drop out and blame it on their teacher. But verse 49. Yeah. And shall begin to smite his fellow servants and to eat and drink with the drunken. The Lord,
yeah, real quick, like a smite his fellow servants. You know, smiting with the remember, there, it's everything's over to that, which is like, it's, you know, on the left hand side, smiting the servants on the left, or it's like on the right hand side, as it states in the book of Psalms, chapter 141, it'll tell you, let the righteous smite me, it shall be a kindness, and let him reprove me, it shall be excellent oil. Yeah, and yet my prayer shall be in their calamities. So it's good for a righteous man to smite you on a spiritual level, meaning he slapping you around. You know what I'm saying? Like it says in the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 7, the righteous saw me. Hold on, real quick. Let me just get that quick precept right. Song of Solomon 5 and 7. Song of Solomon 5 and 7. The watchmen that went about the city found me, and they smote me. So you can smite people with the word, man. Hit them with Deuteronomy 28:68, right? Brother, what the hell are you doing? Why are you eating that pork? Leviticus 11 and 7. Right? Isaiah 66, verse 15. Right? If the brother doesn't repent, Acts 17, verse 29, man. Right? I believe it's 29 to 30, right? Come. Right? You slapping him with the word. Because remember, the word is like a sword, right? It says they smote me, they wounded me. Hey, you might have to cut up a brother just to build him back up. Right? You cut him up, but then you give him that oil and that wine. Right? It's like that oil. Yeah, I believe that's the oil and the wine going back to the Good Samaritan in the book of Luke. You know what I'm saying? You give him that and you heal him with that. They wounded me, the keepers of the wall took away my veil from me, stripped you of your garment, your garment, and put on that new garment on, But on the left-hand side, they smiting you with wickedness, right? Right, giving you this doctrine, giving you that doctrine, slapping you with that. Hey, brother, pulls out the book, big old nasty book of Enoch, presents it to your face. Hey, that's madness, bro. But
You still that?
Yeah. So, Matthew 24 and
50.
50. Yeah, and eat and drink with the drunken, meaning he's eating and drinking of the philosophies and doctrines of these other nations in Babylon.
And another folk too is it says, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, the people in his truth. He used to be out there in the highways and byways. Next thing you know, he's the main one scoffing. First, he was in the hand, he was on fire in this thing. Now, guess what? He pulled up to the campsite, right? He brought his mic too, because y'all have the microphone. And guess what? He's scoffing. He's bucking up. He's an Old Testament only Israelite now, right? He's smiting y'all in this thing, man, causing trouble, right? Verse 50. The Lord of thy servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of. And shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Right? So the Lord will come in a day, in a time, in an hour where no one's really looking for him. You might be having a blast, having the time of your life. You're on the top of the you got 6 Flags on the top of the Goliath. You're having fun, having a blast. Guess what? All hell break loose. The Lord has an EMP attack kickoff. You stuck at the top of the Goliath with your hands in the air. You can't get down unless you jump off and kill yourself because you wasn't being diligent. You didn't read that day. You didn't fast the whole month. And guess what? The Lord caught up with you, man. And there's nothing you can do about it. The Lord caught you with your pants pulled down.
That's right, man. And like how the brother said, serving the Most High. Somebody said they're going to repent at the last second. How the hell you know when the last second is? You don't know. The Lord said he comes at an hour when you think not. Right? So you can't know when the last second is, man. You know what I'm saying?
Got precepts too. So let me get precept. Precept 2. I was meditating about this precept today. Like when that judgment is set, you can't do nothing about it. That judgment is set, man. When that gavel come down, the verdict is already made. Right? Let me get this real quick. This book of Daniel, chapter 7, and verse 10. A fiery stream issued and came forth. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him, thousands minister unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open, man. So you over here talking about, I'm gonna wait till the last second, right? If that happened, I don't know. I'm not a witness. If that actually happened, they said that and things of that nature. And when all hell break loose, that's the judgment being set. If you was righteous, all hell break loose, guess what? Your name's written in the book of life. It's going to stay in the book of life. If it's not, all hell break loose, then it's not, man. You go on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side, there's nothing you can change about that. It's going to be too late, man. Because that verdict is already set. It's either you're guilty or not guilty. But come
Gone. Matthew 12:36, for by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. Every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. So they said they're gonna repent the last second. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take that up with the Lord, man. So yeah, come on, right? Matthew 24. Yeah, we can just read Matthew 24 through verses 50 through 51.
go back to it. Matthew chapter 24 and verse. The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
See that? So the brothers and the sisters even that lose patience, right? That lose patience, guess what? The Lord's going to cut them in sunder, right? And point their portion with the hypocrites. The Lord said in the book of Job that the hypocrite shall not stand before the Most High. So do we want to be a hypocrite? No. The Lord says, the book of Sirach, let me not be a hypocrite in the sight of men. You don't want to be a hypocrite in the sight of men. I believe that's let's see if I can get a precept real quick on that, right? Sirach chapter 1 verse 29. Be not an hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest. Hey, take good heed what thou speakest, man. All right. Don't just be like, I'm gonna repent at the last second. All right, so come on. But yeah, so we brought that precept out to say because we need patience in this thing. This all goes back to James chapter 5 verse 7, where it speaks about what? Let me just share my screen again, right? Why are we bringing out that precept? Right, James chapter 5 verse 7. Right, it says, "Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it until he receive the early and latter rain." So he waits for the precious fruit of the earth to come. And when is that precious fruit of the earth going to come? During the spiritual spring as well as summer as well, because you do have summer fruit, right? And you have long patience for it. Remember, the winters could be long, huh? Right? Remember, watermelons are not year long. Okay. Watermelons, that's a summer fruit. But how the hell are you getting watermelon during the winter? Doesn't make any sense. That's Esau and his magic and his sorcery, right? He's able to grow that stuff when it's out of season. That's why the damn water. Oh, you got it.
I just said no seeds.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It had got no damn seeds. Doesn't taste right. It's all damn soggy. It's not the same, bro. Like how my dad, he grew up in a time which they had actual watermelon, right? Not this GMO watermelon, right? Yeah, they had actual watermelon with the black seeds and everything. And he says it doesn't taste like it. It doesn't taste like this watermelon like right now. It doesn't taste like that at all. So that lets the times we're living in, and that this watermelon and stuff like that is out of order. You're supposed to have these fruits at its allotted season. That's how the Lord ordained it. All right. Let's get this precept real quick. All right. Well, we can get. Let me get this one. It's Isaiah chapter 24 and verse number 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Breaking the laws, changing the ordinance, breaking the everlasting covenant, basically making things out of order, man. You're supposed to have, watermelon, for instance. That's a summer fruit. You're supposed to have that in its allotted land. So, a lot of seasons. So that husbandman that maybe wants a certain type of fruit, certain type of wheat, or certain type of crop, and he has to wait for that thing. You know what I'm saying? He has to wait for it. He has to wait for his seeds. He has to plant seeds, and then he has to wait for it to bud up. And he has to do it at the right moment. He has to give it the right amount of water, has to give it the right amount of sunlight, a right amount of attention. And it's the same thing when we're planting seeds in a nation, right? When we're planting seeds in a nation, right? We have to give this brother enough time. We have to give him enough precepts, not too much. You don't want to overwater the brother, right? Give him a little bit, might give him a little bit this day, etc., etc. The Lord talks about in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3.
So like I want to get this precept real quick. In Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I drive them. So, the Lord said everything you eat, herb, it has to have seeds in it. And I went to the store, recently, got some oranges. There was no seeds in it, man. But I remember back in like high school, like my junior and senior year, a person would always give me their oranges. It had seeds in it. It was nice. It was juicy. It was real good. Try to get oranges now, it got no seeds in it. And you can't eat that. I'd be going against the law because you're eating some fake behind GMO food, man. And on a spiritual level, you cannot grow GMO food. You cannot be planting it's not even planting seed, but you can't give a tainted philosophy or doctrine to a brother, man, because that would be fake. It'll be GMO. And it'll be good for nothing. It'll be cast into the fire. So when you plant the seed, make sure you plant the seed. Make sure it's herb-bearing seed and things in this thing, man. Make sure you water it, like the brother was saying. Give it some light so it can grow, so it can yield fruits, meat for what? For to eat.
All right. Come on. And the brother said, Barakathon Mosias, they not supposed to be circular. They supposed to be football shaped. Come on. That's right. Hey, there's no reason why a watermelon is like this big. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? Right? It's out of order, man. And they're not that big in reality. Right? I want to get this precept real quick. So, we need patience, we wait for it. Just like how we husbandmen too in this thing spiritually. Right? We wait for the kingdom of heaven. We wait for the day of the Lord. We wait for Yahushua, right, to come back. This is the book of Romans. Let me get this precept real quick. Romans 8 and 25. Right, Romans chapter 8, verse 25, it says, but I'm sorry, verse 24. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for? So we're saved by hope, man. That hope is faith, right? That faith that we have in the Lord. Man, we're saved by that. Because remember, how do you show your faith? Your works, right? Verse 25. But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. So we wait with patience for Yahushua. We wait with patience for the kingdom of heaven. Come on. I want to get this one other precept too. Revelation 1 and 9. All right. Revelation 1 and 9. It says, I, John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation, and in the kingdom and patience of Yahushua Mahashiach, was in the isle that is called Patmos for the word of God and for the testimony of Yahushua Mahashiach. So John was just literally waiting on the island, waiting for Yahushua, right? Like he was waiting. We're all waiting in this thing, having that patience. Because as soon as we start getting impatient, that's when we start losing faith. Come on, you got it.
Let me see if I can get this precept real quick. Because your patience is going to is going to possess your soul in this thing. If you too hasty, you make a false move. Guess what? You're going to get jammed up. You're not going to make it out this thing. This book of Luke, chapter 21, and verse 19. In your patience, possess ye your souls. Because a husbandman, when he plant the seeds, is not going to bear the next day. It's going to take some time and some time and some time. Some people get impatient. When they start seeing a tomato start coming out the ground, get a little ripe and things of that nature, they're so impatient that they don't let it get plumb or anything, and they get it and it's still sour. It's not good yet because they get impatient. But you gotta wait for that for the plums, that tree to grow all the way up, to get what's called nourishing this thing for those plums to be what? Plump, nice and juicy, good to eat. Because you got it takes time, right? When you come into this truth, you don't know everything. You still don't know anything. You still getting built up in this thing, but it takes time. When you first came into this truth, you didn't know anything. You probably knew about Deuteronomy 28:68. You probably had the NIV Bible collecting dust next to the TV stand, right? But now, guess what? Now you growing in this thing over time and time and time, getting watered, right? Getting the sunlight. Now you know a couple of precepts. Now you know how to break down certain things. Now you what? Producing fruit because you was planted in this truth. The Lord gave you the increase. Now you're producing fruit, almost good to eat in this thing. So you gotta be patient so that your fruits are found worthy for the true husbandman to come back and to be able to call you meat to eat. If that makes sense. But
That's right, man. That's right. Yeah, all praise the Most High. So yeah, that's spring. We can touch on the summer real quick. Summer is not too many precepts. It's not that deep. The summer, because remember, we know what summer is. Summer is when it gets hot, and we know what the hot is. The heat of the day, one fold, right? So let's get a precept on that on the heat of the day. All right. I believe this is Genesis. Right. Genesis chapter. Okay, let's see here. All right. You said what?
Chapter 18, I believe that you're one with Abraham.
Con. Mm-hmm. Con, that's the one. Yep. Con, this is the book of Genesis. Con, the water. Genesis 18:1. And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. So that on one for the heat of the day, this is going on. On what? Or going into what? Basically, when everything's happening, like the afternoon, noon time, right? The noonday, in which on one fold everything's going on. People are moving. People are doing what they do on the daily, whatever. The operate, the maneuvering, that's the heat of the day on one fold. But on another fold, the heat of the day, the noonday, it's also going into the destruction, right? The destruction, all hell breaking loose, the affliction. That's what that is also going into. All right, let's get a precept on that too. You got a precept? God. Psalms.
Here's the verse you want. I can get. When you look for yours, I bring this one out. So, chapter 43 and verse 3. At noon, it parcheth the country, and who can abide the burning heat thereof, man? So at noonday, little kids probably, or still now, it was spring or summer. At noonday, 12 o'clock, you got to play basketball. It's hot. You're getting dizzy, right? You play one game, you got to pass out. You sweating, your shirt dripping, right? Your French is coming to loose, all hell breaking loose because it's hot in this thing. You need a lot of water to abide that burning heat, right? And that is symbolic for what? For judgment. Who can abide the judgment of the Lord, man? A lot of people that's righteous, they're going to barely escape the judgment of the Lord, man. By the skin of their teeth. Scarcely be saved in this thing. Let me get that precept real quick in 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 17. Because that's what noonday is all about. Judgment time. Right? It's judgment time in this thing. A lot of people having their little fun time, doing what they want to do. It's about to get serious. It's about to get solemn, right? Let me get this real quick. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 17, right? And it reads, "For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God." So it's going to begin at the house of God. The people in this truth, and of course in the nation of Israel in general, but especially people in this truth, right? Don't be surprised when you start seeing people drop out, getting put to death by the Lord, because the Lord is judging everybody, whether you're sincere or not, you're repentant or you're not, right? And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? So if the unrighteous man, the righteous woman, they're scarcely going to be saved from the judgment of the Lord at noonday, how much more these other people? How much more the heathen? When it's judgment day, they're going to get burnt up with thermonuclear fire, right? By the chariot zapping them, getting turned into dust. That fire going to cleave into their flesh. Let me get one more precept, Salaki. Get one more precept. Get Job real quick. Because when judgment begins, the Lord comes back and burns this place up. Their soul is going to be mourning and screaming inside of them. Let me get this real quick. Because what's death? Now, if you have, Lord willing, you can receive this. But all death is when your spirit leaves your body, when your soul leaves your body. But the thing is, the Lord, he said he's going to destroy your flesh and your soul. So, because your flesh going to get burnt up. But the thing is, the Lord going to keep your soul in your body when you get burnt up in this thing, right? So you can feel it the whole time. It's not going to be a quick death. Let me get that. This is going to be this is the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 22. But his flesh upon him shall have pain, and his soul within him shall mourn, man. So when you get burnt up in this thing, your soul going to be mourning in this thing. You're going to try to seek death, but you're not going to find it. That's how the noonday going to be, judgment. You're not going to find no refuge. You're going to get destroyed if you're not repenting, keeping the commandments, and serving Yahweh while Yahweh Shah. But
Khan, that's right, man. The noonday, right? That's the spiritual summertime. Because remember, in the summer, it could be damn blazing heat. It's damn hot. Damn sun is shining upon you. You're sweating. Like, damn. It's hot as hell, bro. That's that spiritual summer, but that's also symbolic of the noonday, man. Right? Psalms, it's just Psalms, chapter 91, verse 6. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Right? That destruction that wasted at noonday, man. Right? What is that destruction? Jacob's trouble, the affliction, But if you keep the Most High in your refuge or as your refuge, you'll be delivered from that. That's what that's saying. You won't see the destruction, or you won't feel the destruction that wastes at noonday, man. You won't see the missiles, right, coming towards you and damn blowing you up into a million pieces. You're not going to feel it, damn Esau putting a damn gun to your head, right, and pulling the trigger 5 times. You're not going to feel that if you make the Most High your refuge, right? You're not going to feel the destruction that wasted at noonday. Okay, because remember, in terms of heat, summer is the hottest. I mean, everybody knows that. And in terms of heat at noonday, usually that's when it's hottest as well, right? That's the top, So we can put 2 and 2 together and see that summer and that noonday is, it's a little bit connected in the scriptures, right? Also have this precept in the book of Luke. It's the book of Luke chapter 21, right? Luke chapter 21 and verse 29. And he spake to them a parable. Behold, the fig tree and all the trees. So he said, look at the fig tree and all the trees, right? When they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is now at hand. So when they start springing forth, they start growing, you understand by men looking at that, now they understand that, okay, summer is coming, right? It's right around the corner. Right? Verse 31. So likewise, ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of God is nigh at hand. So if we can see on the spiritual level, right, that the fig trees coming, the trees are coming, or they're blossoming, that is a sign that, and that's a sign that spring or summer is coming on the physical level. When we see the signs of the times, that's also an inclination that, guess what, the spiritual spring and summer is coming, right? That spiritual spring is coming. The kingdom of heaven is coming. The Lord is coming back, et cetera, right? But it's on so many folds that it can be looked at as different, as many ways, right? Become, yeah, the precept, you can be yourself.
Because the Lord, I'm trying to look for the dang, that's a spirit. I just found it. But this is the book of Matthew, chapter 13. Let me see where I want to start. The whole parable is good because it really goes into it, right? It really what we're speaking about. But I'll get to the point. Verse 30, and it reads, "Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest, I would say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn." You see that? And that's what happened in the time of harvest, right? If you're a husbandman, you'll gather the wheat, right? But the tares, you're going to just what? You're going to burn up. It's good for nothing. Same thing with the Lord as a husbandman in the time of the summer, which is noonday. You're going to come back. The wheat represents who? The elect, the Israelites, right? And the tares represents the heathen, represents the 2/3. The heathen, the 2/3 going to get burnt up. The elect going to get what? The wheat, they're going to be brought into the barn into safety. Let me get another precept real quick. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 21, and verse 9. And it reads, "Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. The Lord shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them." It's going to be so hot on the earth, it's going to feel like an oven, right? Verse 10, "Their fruit shalt thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men." So their fruit, their seed is going to be destroyed. And in the summertime, it can get so hot that it can wither the wheat, it can wither the tree, because some things it can't take so much sunlight. It's going to dry it out, not get the right nutrients. It's going to wither away and dry up. So the Lord going to come back and dry this place up, their fruits and their works. Let me get one more precept, Salak here. That also is talked about in Luke, right? Or you can get Matthew. I'm going to get the one in Luke real quick, though. I believe it's chapter 3 or 6. I'll get the one in chapter 6. Luke chapter 6 and verse 43. And it reads, "For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither doth a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit." Right? A good tree going to bring forth good fruit. Corrupt tree going to bring forth corrupt fruit. Corrupt fruit, right? Verse 44, "For every tree," no, that's not the one I want. I want the one when the axe is laid. Salakia. Oh, there we go. Luke chapter 3 and verse 9. "And now also the axe is laid unto the root of the trees. Every tree, therefore, which bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire." The Lord going to cut down these nations and cast them into the fire because their fruit, which are the works, is not good for nothing. You can't do nothing with it. You can't eat it. It's all poison. You're going to die. So what you got to do with it, you got to destroy it. And that's what the husbandman, Yahushua, is going to do. Pecan.
Khan, that's right, man. That's right. All praise to the Most High. All praises. Khan, did not the Lord say in 2 Corinthians as well, 5 and 10, that every man's work shall be, or Slaki, that's not the one, that we all have to appear in the judgment seat of Mahashiach Yahushua. Was that 2 Corinthians? Khan, yeah. Right. 2 Corinthians 5 and 10, we all have to, God, we ought to have to appear before that judgment seat, on Mahashiach Yahushua. All right. So, Khan, you got anything else, King? Khan. So, yeah, the summer, there's not much on the summer. I want to share my screen real quick. When you pull it up in the coordinates, you don't see much on the summer. All right, summer parlor. That's Judges 3:20. Judges 3:24. The summer chamber. Hey, let's bring this out real quick because it's kind of funny, right? Because in Judges 3:24, right, when it says, and when he was come out or gone out, right, his servants came, and when they saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor were locked. They said, surely he covered his feet in his summer chamber. Now, what's the summer chamber? What does it mean he covered his feet? It means that, so remember, this is the king of Moab. Hold on. Eglon, king of Moab, right? So this is the story of the king of Moab who was Eglon, and Ehud, who was left-handed, right? But literally, Ehud killed Eglon, and he went out and locked the door. And when the servants of the king came, they saw that the doors were locked. So they thought that he was covering his feet. But what does it mean to cover your feet? That means that, remember, when you go to the bathroom, go to the toilet, you pull down your pants and you're covering your feet, right? That's usually how your business is conducted, right? He covered his feet in his summer chamber in the bathroom, right? So I'm not sure why they render it as a summer chamber, but that's talking about the bathroom, right? So that's it's kind of funny. He covered his feet, Pecan. So summer, the summer fruits. The Lord talks about the summer fruits as well. Okay, because remember, not all fruits grow in the same season. Shouldn't be that way either. The bread, the summer fruit, as well as in Amos, right? The summer fruit. For day and night, thy hand will set be upon me. My moisture is turned into the drought of summer. Right. So summer is known in the scriptures. Right. Summer is known. It's there. All right. But it's not too much on the spiritual aspect of it.
Okay.
Well, Khan, you got it.
Okay. So because it's opposite from winter. Winter is mainly dark the whole time. Summer is light the whole time. And we're the children of light. Esau's the children of the dark, man. That's why they so used to being cold. They be wearing shorts. They were wearing short sleeves, shirts, and everything to school. Like it's nothing, man. They be living in a cave. They're used to it. They love that coldness, man. But we're the children of the light. That's why when the sun it beams down on us, we look good. Our skin is glowing. Our skin loves the sun. But Esau, they getting burnt up. They got wither away to the caves. But let me get this scripture real quick. The real light in this thing, like Paul said, through the Spirit of Yasharala. This is book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5 and verse 5. I'll start verse 4, and it reads, "But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as thieves." So we shouldn't be in darkness. And what? Wickedness, lewd acts, right? Shalom.
Shalom Judamanya.
Praises. Right. So we shouldn't be in darkness, but what? Let's keep going. That day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light. So we're the children of the light. Read. In the children of the day. We're the children of the day. The summertime is mainly light the whole time. The wintertime is mainly dark the whole time. You got Esau, the children of the day. Jacob, the children of the night. Esau, that wicked one. Right? And you are all the children of the light. Salakia. Of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness, because we're not the wicked one. Let me get one more precept, Salakia. Let's get 1 Peter real quick. Let's look at 1 Peter, verse 9, and it reads, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." The same way how winter comes from darkness to spring to the light, The same way we come from the darkness into the marvelous light. The same way the new moon come from darkness to what? It starts going to the light. You have to start from darkness to go to light, man. Right? So we're the children of the light in this thing. Right? But you got it, so like it.
Khan, all praises. That's right, man. I got Philippians 2:15 as well, right? Going into the children of the light. That ye, so like Philippians 2:15, that ye may be blameless, right, and harmless, the sons of the Most High, without rebuke in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. So we shine as lights in the world in this thing, right? On a spiritual level, we're the children of the light, the children of the spiritual summer, if you will, the children of the Most High God, who is the light as well, children of Yahushua, who is the light. That's John 8:12. I am the light of the world. He that believeth in me shall not abide in darkness, but shall have the light of life. So we shine as lights in the world. Didn't that the Lord say, "Let your light so shine before men"? Let's go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 14. Matthew 5:14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on the hill cannot be hid. So can you hide damn New York City? Could you hide New York City? Hey, New York City is called the city that never sleeps. There's always certain lights on. There's always people on the street, all the time. City that doesn't sleep. So you can't hide the children of Israel, man, with that light to the world. You can't hide this truth, because it's that light in this dark world. And how can you, if you're in a dark room, it's pitch dark, and you have let's say you turn on the flashlight, it's hard for you to not see that flashlight because it's lighting up the whole room. You know what I'm saying? In that dark, amongst that dark room. Now, if you had, let's say you had a lamp on, you had a lamp on over here, you had the light on over here, you had a light on over here, you had another flashlight over here. Now you put on that same flashlight, that flashlight is not going to stand out as much amongst all that light. You know what I'm saying? But in the midst of darkness, it's going to really stand out. So that's how we stand out in this world. Remember, the Lord said, you're not of the world, right? You're not of the world, right? You're from above. Wait, so that's John 8:24, I believe. Hold on real quick. Let me see that precept. John 8:23, right? Con. And he said unto them, ye are from beneath. He's talking to the Jews that didn't believe in him, right? Ye are from beneath, I am from above. You're of this world, I am not of this world. Hey, I wish I was like, hey, I'm not of this world, man. You're of this world, but we're not of that world, of this world, right? Come.
Yeah, precept. Were you done?
Hold on. Lucky. I have one more precept, but I lost my train of thought. So,
I'll just hit this real quick. Ephesians chapter 5. This whole thing goes really into darkness. I mean, light and dark, but dang. I'll start verse 7, right? And it reads, be not ye therefore partakers but them. So we can be partakers, but people of the dark, unequally yoked. It's a law that you can't have an ass and a cow plowing together. That's an abomination to the Most High God, an unjust balance, right? You should be with the same person. Whoever you hang out with, that's who you are. If you're hanging out with a brother who's a prophet, he's always shaking the hand, that's who you are. If you keep in company with a crackhead, hey, that's who you are, right? Let me keep going. Verse 8. But you were sometimes dark, for ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. So we gotta walk as children of light. For this fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth. So that fruit of the Spirit, right? It's that goodness and righteousness, man. Walking in the light. In the summertime, again, the sun comes up around 5 a.m. and then it goes down at 9 p.m. It's up for more than 12 hours in this thing, man. So we gotta be the children of the light, conquering the children of darkness in this thing, man. Because the light is always gonna rule what? The darkness. It can be dark, and you have that one little tiny light bulb come out of nowhere. It flickers out of nowhere, and you see the light conquers the darkness. Let me get this real quick. In John chapter 1. All right. I'm getting right back to you. John chapter 1. In verse 5, and it reads, "And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended not." So you got to be that light shining in darkness. That darkness represents this world. This is a dark and wicked world, but you got to be that light. When the dark people see it, they can't comprehend it, right? Because they're made for a darkness, right? They're the cockroaches. You're that light that comes on and that scatters them away. If you don't scatter the darkness away, people still have the audacity to ask you, "Hey, hit this real quick." You might not have the light in you, King. You gotta check your spirit, right? But Khan, you got it.
Khan, that's right, man. All praises, Mosai, all praises. Right? Khan. So yeah, that summer is good and bad thing, man. Because remember that summer, during that summer, that sun reigneth. The sun, the light reigns, over the darkness. Whereas in the winter, the darkness will reign over the light. And here's one precept going into how the sun is also symbolic for affliction. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 6. All right, Matthew chapter 13, verse 6. And it reads, it says, and I'm sorry, verse 3. It says, "And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places, where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth." So remember, these seeds are certain brothers that are being planted, right, or basically are being basically introduced to this truth. And certain brothers, when they come to this truth, they're sold on by the wayside. So they get eat up, quickly, right? They get eat up quickly, or they might come to this truth, they fall upon stony places. So they don't have any deepness, they don't have any root in themselves, right? Certain brothers are like that. They only are in the truth for about what, a year, and then they kind of find out that it's not really what they thought it was, and they fall out. Lord willing, that doesn't have it to happen to any of us. God forbid, man. Right? Verse 6. "And when the sun was up, when the sun was up, right, they were scorched," that affliction, right? "And because they had not root, they withered away." So let's skip down to verse, when he breaks it. Hold on. I might have to go to Mark chapter 4. Right. Might have to go to Mark chapter 4. Yeah, let me go to Mark 4 quick, right? So let's get that breakdown, right, of what the Lord is talking about. What does that sun represent, right? Mark chapter 4, right, in verse 6. "But when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it had no root, it withered away." So let's skip down to verse 16. "And these are they which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness." So some brothers, they'll come into the truth, right? And brothers putting good precepts, man. All praises. Right. Job 10 and 21. That's a good precept, right? It says, "Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death." That's right. It's talking about this world right now, especially America, right? Especially Babylon the Great. The land of darkness, as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is as darkness. John 11 and 10. Let me see what that is. See what that is, brother. Hey, you remind you, man. Judomani and Brakatha Most High is like the famous John 11:10. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth because there's no light in him. That's right. That's right. If you walk in the night and you don't have any light in you, obviously you're going to stumble. You're going to fall. Right? That's a good precept. Right? Matthew 25 and verse 1 through 4 as well. Parable of the 10 virgins. And John 6:23, right? For the commandment is a lamp and the law is light, and reproofs and instruction are the way of life. That's how we can see in this wicked world. That's how we know how to operate, how to walk in this dark world. Because if we don't have the light of Yahweh, we don't have the lamp, we don't have the law, we're lost, right? We don't know what the hell to do, going after Christianity. Well, this seems right. I don't know. I'm gonna go after Islam. It kind of seems right. That's why Jake, he's all into damn diverse religions, and philosophies. One day he's a Buddhist, the next day he's a damn monk, the next day he's a Christian, then the next day he's a Muslim, saying Allah Akbar, right? Saying no pork, no pork. He has an Arabic accent. He didn't even speak Arabic, I am black because the sun looked upon me. That's right. That's right. This Song of Solomon 1 and 5, right? Going into the basically the affliction, right? The affliction. God, that's Naquan brought that out in that one video too. That's deep to the spirit. Right. But let me read that real quick. Mark chapter 4, verse 17. And have no root in themselves, and so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution ariseth for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. So that's the sun. The sun represents that affliction. And so certain brothers, they will come into the truth, right? They will receive it with gladness. Yeah, we're Israelites. Let's go. Right? I found out my nationality, and they might be happy to dive into the scriptures, man. They ordered the Apocrypha, they ordered their pocket Bible, they ordered their 1611, they ordered their notebooks, and they're happily studying the word. But as soon as when affliction or persecution arises for the word's sake, they are offended and they fall out. They say, well, hold on now. I didn't know that we had to go to jail. Wait, hold on. I thought this truth was just about saying, Kwame Yasharala, right? And we get to go to the feast days. You know what I'm saying? We get to eat and be merry. I thought that was the truth, right? No, brother, there's bitterness to this thing. Remember, it's bittersweet. That's Revelation chapter 10. We have to understand these things and remember, we have to make sure we have root in ourselves and understand the bigger picture, the whole picture. This truth, it can be fun at times. Camp could be fun at times. You know what I'm saying? But let's say that brother, he goes to camp and damn, Esau starts getting on him. Everybody starts getting on him because he's like, it's like he's just going through it, right? In this thing, we're going to go through it in the truth. Trouble on every side, right? Like it says, let's real quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 4. Great is my boldness of speech toward you. Great is my glorying of you. I am filled with comfort. I am exceeding joyful in all our tribulation. So Paul was exceeding joyful of his tribulation. Man. It was like, yes, we went through it. But certain brothers, when the affliction comes, they don't understand the precepts. They don't understand the precepts about, going through affliction and stuff like that. And so when that comes, they quit. And Lord willing, and God forbid, that's us, right? Verse 5. And when we were come into Macedonia, our flesh had no rest, but we were troubled on every side. Without our fightings, within were fears. So, Paul and them and the apostles, they were troubled on every side. See that? On every side, they were troubled. Catching affliction here, catching persecution there. But they still, because they had root in themselves, they still did not move. They still did not budge. James 1 and 2. You know, I also have this one quick precept slot here, right? Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 4. Right? Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 4. It says, "For though they flourish in branches for a time, yet standing not fast, they shall be shaken with the wind, and through the forces of winds they shall be rooted out." See that? So that's what is that wind? That affliction. In that tree, let's say if a tree has good roots and the wind is coming, is that tree going to move? No. If the tree has roots in the ground and those roots are stable in the ground, whatever you can throw a damn car at the tree, it's not going to move. You know, that wind that's pushing it, it's not going to move, man. Right? So what is that affliction? When that affliction comes, let's say you got root in yourself, you planted in this thing, you understand what the truth is about. When that affliction comes, you're gonna be like, hey, you're not gonna be offended. Right? Khan, you got it, King. It's love. Khan. Khan, yeah, you had anything else on that? All right, Khan, all praise to the Most High, all praise to the Most High. All right, so yeah, this was the spiritual spring and summer, all praise to the Most High. We can bring out closing precepts.
This is the book of Psalm, chapter 48, 14. For this God is our God forever, ever. He will be our guide even unto death. So when you have a guide, that means you're blind. When you're blind, you don't know what's around you. You can't see anything. That guide, you got to put your faith in that guide. He's the one telling you what's in front of you, what's behind you, your surroundings, where to go in this thing. Yahweh and Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, you're the angels and things of that nature. Those are your guides. They guide you because we walk by faith, not by sight. You don't know what your latter end is going to be, but you have that guide that's going to show you and guide you to that latter end, which is what the kingdom of heaven, right? So just remember, the Lord is always on your side. Only thing you got to do is what? Love the Most High with all thy heart, right? With all thy strength. It's like with all thy heart, with all thy mind, I believe. What's it called? Keep the commandments of the Lord. And just be sincere, man. Repenting and things in that nature. The Lord gonna always be on your side. But
Khan. All praise the Most High, all praises. Khan. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, Khan. Shabbat Shalom to all that's deserving it. All praise to the Most High God, man. Right, I got close precept as well. Man, hold on now. Oh, hold on. Slug here. Okay. Yeah. Just bring out the class. All right, this is the book of Zephaniah. This book is Zephaniah, chapter 3, and verse number 18 or 19. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. So everywhere we've been put to shame, man. Germany, Ireland, Japan, America, South America, Central America, every country in which we have been scattered and put to shame and put in slavery and put in chains, put in an oppressive state to this day, every place in which we are put to shame, the Lord is going to give us praise and fame, man. The heathen are going to be praising your name. The heathen are going to be praising our God, Yahweh Ba'ashima Mashak Yahweh Shah, man. And everybody's going to have to bow down. It's either you get down, you lay down, or you get out the damn way. All right? You get down or lay down. That's it. That's how it's going to be. Whosoever shall not worship Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah shall be killed. Just like how it says in Revelation 13 and 15, but on the left-hand side for the beast. Right? It's going to be like that. If you don't want to get down with the Lord, then get the hell out the way. Verse 20. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you. For I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth. That's when we're going to be famous, man. We don't want to be famous in this society. We don't want to make it in this society, right? We don't want to be the most well-known top Israelite, right? Top Israelite. You know what I'm saying? Found Isaiah 16:12. That's a good precept, right? For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall utterly perish. You know, I believe that says, right? Become like, hey, we're not trying to be the most famous Israelite right now, man. We don't want to be famous in this society, to be a celebrity, you know. We're trying to be a celebrity in the kingdom of heaven, Lord willing, man, and get our crown and our dominion and your rulership, you know, and to sit next to the great men if the Lord will, right? Super blue, right? We're not trying to be the top Israelite man, you know. I have a poster of Ahbayah, right? Ahbayah, he's selling posters, right? $40. If you want the deluxe, you can get the $60, right? $60. That's the deluxe, you know. Hey, you know, take a picture like this, you know, yeah, you know, right? Have a coffee mug, it's your name on it, right? A picture of you, you know, on your Bible, it's a picture, you know, a picture of you on your Bible. Yeah, you know, it's me, right? Kind of open it up. Hey, you know, on your old Bibles, you had Yahweh, Yahweh Shah. Now you have Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, and you say Bahashem in your elder's name, right? Put your elder's name right there, right? You say call on Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, your elder's name, right? And then that's when you pray. You know what I'm saying? You pray in your elder's name too. So we're not dealing, we're not dealing with that man worship and all that stuff. We're not trying to make it in this society. That's what I'm trying to say, right? We're not trying to make it in this society. It says, "For I'll make you a name and praise among all the people of the earth in the kingdom of heaven when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith Yahweh Bahashim Mashal Lak Yahweh Shah." Khan. So with that, all praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Lord willing, is edifying. Brother Yasharala.
Brother Ahbayah.
Khan. I come back to yet another video because Spirit Power Yahweh Bahashim Mashal Yahweh Shah. I believe everyone that's watching is like what it also watches W5. So kind of appreciate the views, appreciate the watching, the tuning in. All praise to the Most High God, Lord willing. This is edifying, like I said. And Kwame Yasharala.